All right, welcome back, everyone, and Bear Down. We are back today with our Bears Breakdown mini-series, and we're doing the running back position today. But those of you who are new to the channel, this is an ongoing series we've been doing with every position on the Bears roster. We're almost done with it. We only have running back and linebacker left. So we've been analyzing all the positions, where we see the team now, which free agents we see, which people we're targeting in the draft, and we're analyzing it. We're going to continue to ongoing adjust this as we get towards the draft and as the team gets into free agency on March 11th. But this is the ongoing series for us. There's a lot to break down with these. The running back position is an interesting one for me, and I think you'll agree by the time we're done with this video. There's a lot to analyze with it. Let's move on to our current roster. And guys, I didn't put Travis Homer on here for two reasons. One, he doesn't have any stats because he's special teams only. And two, I'm going to make a bold take right now. I could be very wrong with this one because this is an Adam take. I think we're going to cut Travis Homer. There's not much salary cap we would have as dead cap. It's like $200,000. And there's a lot of options we can do at running back. And with a new staff, I think they're going to want to mold this team. I see some exciting things happening. So stick tuned in this video because I have a couple of bold takes in it. Okay, let's run through these because there's so many ways you can analyze a running back. And you'll see the top running backs in the entire league are useful in different ways in different teams. You can have your receiving running backs. You can have your elusive running backs. You can have your running backs that mow people over. You can have your running backs that are great at blocking. You can have your running backs that get great yards after catch that don't ever drop the ball. So I've separated them into two categories, but there's so much more to this. So don't think there's just these two ways. There's so much more to this. On the top section, we've got rushing, and the bottom section we got blocking. So let's just go through those. There's their height, weight, their elusiveness is what ELU stands for. That's actually a statistic at PFF. Their yards per attempt, which to me is a big one. Their yards after contact, which is a big one. Their drop percentage in receiving, and their entire grade. Okay, their entire running grade. On the bottom part, we have blocking. We have their height, weight. We have their run blocking grade, their pass blocking grade, their blocking efficiency. And what this is how PFF grades them. It's similar to my sack, hit, hurry for other categories I've created, but it's how effectively they block other people, other defensive linemen or blitzers coming in from getting a sack, hit, or hurry. 88.5 is awful. It's terrible, and it's why D'Onta Foreman got benched at the end of the year. A lot of you might wonder why that happened, why he was getting benched so hard. Well, it was because of that. You see the pass blocking grade of 29.5, and he wasn't running very well as well, and he dropped balls like crazy. The Cleveland game was bad. So that's why D'Onta Foreman got benched. I don't see us re-signing D'Onta Foreman. I know a lot of us loved him. He came in at the right time and had some big games, but he's just too much of a liability. His blocking is terrible. And he wasn't cutting the mustard when it came to how he was fulfilling his role as a runner and a receiver. So I don't see us holding on to him. I know that might disappoint some people, but that's really how I see that happening. So here's our current roster as far as the salary cap. Travis Homer is on the roster, but you can see we have an out this year. 225 in dead cap is what it was. So let's get rid of that right there. Yeah, let's get rid of that. All right, so Khalil Herbert, I don't see him going anywhere. How he does this year depends on whether he'll receive an extension. Roschon Johnson, we'll go back to him real quick. And, he didn't have the best grades, but look how consistent he was across the board with pass and run blocking. So he was a solid blocking back for us. So there's the Travis Homer situation. Here's our offense. We always show this for every one of our videos. Khalil Herbert was a 14th out of 61 running backs graded by PFF, so he's in the green. He's solid for us, and I think he is a quality running back. Let's look at the free agents out there. No, I'm sorry. This is the top of the league. These are our top running backs in the league. Devin Achane, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, James Conner, Raheem Mostert, and Tyler Algier I put on there because if we do trade with the Falcons, I can see Tyler Algier being a part of that trade package. And the reason I say that, so here's their rushing. You can look at their rushing. You see how elite some of these guys are. Yards after catch, yards per attempt. I mean, it's just top of the league. It's right up there. That's why they're number 1 through 5 and then 8. But here is the blocking. Look at Tyler Algier's blocking grades. Pass blocking 90. We need time for Justin Fields to get time in the pocket to pass. Well, Tyler Algier would help with that. His run blocking isn't as great, but I I mean, he can come in. The different running backs come in different sets for reasons. Blocking efficiency didn't allow anything last year. His overall grade was an 82.6. Tyler Algier, to me, is a great running back. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, but if we did trade with the Falcons, I can see that being part of the trade package. Nobody's really mentioning that yet, but he's definitely a piece that could be included. All right, so there's our top in the league. Let's look at the free agents. And here on the rushing side, Devin Singletary, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Antonio Gibson, Tony Pollard, and Austin Eckler. So elusiveness, yards per attempt, yards after contact, drop percentage, and where they ranked. And this is on the blocking side, and then as well as some of what their projected contracts are. So I don't know if we necessarily go this route, but if we do, I can see us doing a value contract. And Derrick Henry turning 30, he hasn't lost a step, guys. I am not opposed at all to bring Derrick Henry in on a 2-year contract at $9 million, which is what they're saying his value is right now. Bringing Derrick Henry in at $4.5 million a year, letting David Montgomery go was difficult. He didn't have as good a yak, and he didn't have as good of yard per carry as Khalil Herbert, but he was a much more efficient blocking running back. And Derrick Henry fulfills that role. His pass blocking is 79.5. He's one of the best in the league. So I can see, and he mows people over. Obviously, we know how he runs. He's a consistent 1,000-yard runner. He's been over 1,500 yards. He's just a beast. And so Derrick Henry, I don't think he's lost a step. I would love to see us bring him in, even on a 2-year, $10 million deal, cut Travis Homer, and then you can pause this if you want, see some of those values, see some of the grades. I know I'm running through this one kind of quick, guys. There's just so many stats. If you want to pause it and look at some of them, you're more than welcome to. But then here's our draft class. And I do like this draft class, but there's no one that just blows your socks off and says, this is Jahmyr Gibbs, this is the guy, this is Bijan Robinson, this is the guy. But there's a couple that really stick out to me, and I put Audric Estime in a couple of my mock drafts earlier. A lot of you guys that have been following will know that. But Jalen Wright and Audric Estime really stick out to me as those guys that are kind of the whole package. So they're not your 6'4" running back like Derrick Henry is, but 5'11", 227 pounds is a solid running back. 126.5 on elusiveness, and these are college stats, so these are a little more inflated than your NFL stats will be. There's a lot more guys with over 6 yards per carry and the yards after contact, but yards after contact actually over 4 in college is solid. So Audric Estime is hitting those tacklers and running them over. I really like Audric Estime, and he's from Notre Dame. He's actually from New York, but he plays at Notre Dame, and we like those local guys. So, and then this is the rushing side of it. You can pause that if you want, but then here is the blocking side of it. And the thing I like about Audric Estime is he's also balanced there too. So I highlighted the ones that were over a certain amount. So on the run blocking over 60, pass blocking over 60. And the same thing on the rushing side, those who were over 125 on elusiveness, those over 6 yards per attempt, and those over 4 yards after contact, those less than 5 on drop percentage. Because in the NFL, you want your receivers and your running backs to be less than 5% on your drop percentage. The far right category, that's where they're projected to go in the draft right now. This is a moving scale. This is fluctuating all the time. But if we can get Audric Estime in a 4th-round pick, oof, I would absolutely snaggle that up. I would love to have him as a 4th-round pick for us. All right, so this one's a little quicker for us. You can pause that and you can look through those if you want. But here's my preference. I want to cut Travis Homer, not re-sign Deonta Foreman. I want to sign Derrick Henry and draft Audric Estime. These would be my 4 guys in our running back room. And guys, that to me is a solid running back room. There is options right there for the Bears. Maybe it's too loaded. I don't know. We'll see. But I can see that being a solid running back room that's not too expensive for the Bears. It's really, really an option I would like that I think is very possible. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your comments. This excites me in the running back room. I want to see what happens because I see polls going after value like this, and I see him doing something just like this. But creative, what I thought was a good idea. Until next time, keep enjoying. Please hit the like button. Please share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And bear down.